As for me, these are my stories. I observe all that transpires here, but I do not, cannot, will not interfere, for I am the Film Watcher.
Hello. So, first episode of What If dropped on Disney Plus today. It was good. I liked it. So, I'm not going to put the title of the episode in the title of this video because just in case you haven't seen it yet, I don't want it to pop up in your recommended section and it spoils what specific what if scenario the episode is doing. So, this episode is What If, spoiler warning if you haven't seen the episode, Captain Carter were the first Avenger. And yeah, I liked it. It was a good episode. Let's talk about negative stuff first. I found the voice acting to be kind of inconsistent. You have Haley Atwell, and she's doing a good job. You have Bradley Whitford, and he's doing a great job, and I will talk about that later. He was the real standout here, but then you have performances like Sebastian Stan, for example. And I don't know why he seemed so awkward in this episode, but it just didn't feel right. And I don't know why, because Sebastian Stan has been delivering solid performance after solid performance for 10 years now in this franchise. And just now, in this episode, it's like he just seems really awkward in his delivery. But I don't know why that would be. And then at first, the voice actor that was voicing Steve Rogers, Josh Keaton is his name, I believe. At first, I was like, oh, he's doing a pretty convincing impression of Chris Evans. And then whenever he talked louder than this volume that I'm at now, it seemed like he was just so off from what he had been before. So that kind of bothered me. And then, weirdly enough, the voice actor, the replacement for Red Skull, was a little off as well. Which is weird, because the actor that voiced Red Skull in this episode, Ross Marquand, he was the one that played him in Infinity War and Endgame. So he has experience in this role. More experience than Hugo Weaving, in fact. But yeah, I'm not sure what that was about. And then all throughout the episode, usually comic book movies are known for one-liners and stuff. This show not only had excessive one-liners, it had terrible one-liners. At the very end of the episode, when the giant octopus monster was there and flailing all around, and it was like, and Bucky just walks in and he's like, whoa, who ordered the calamari? So that was weird. And overall, it just felt kind of average. Going into the show, I expected this one to be the first episode we got, because it's the one that was marketed first and the one that's been marketed the most. And overall, it just felt kind of right in the middle on the quality spectrum. It was good. It wasn't really anything more than that. By which I mean, it wasn't really anything that special in terms of the MCU. In fact, I'd say I liked the entirety of First Avenger less than this movie. No, wait, what am I saying? I liked First Avenger more than this movie. This film also, it kind of felt like a little packed in, but I mean, I've heard people say that the episode felt really short, as if they were trying to squish First Avenger into this 30-minute episode. I didn't really see that as much. I mean, I have bigger problems with the episode. It's, I don't think Steve was used to its best abilities. Nor was Peggy Carter, to be completely honest, but I mean, I still enjoyed the dynamic. And honestly, yeah, this is a good episode. I think I really enjoyed the Watcher and Jeffrey Wright's vocal performance. I think there were a couple of little twists in this episode that I did not see coming. The animation, it looks really nice. It kind of reminded me of, there's a Netflix series that came out last year called The Liberator, where they used this really unique brand of animation that was like, it looked like real people, except it was clearly animated, and that's kind of what this reminded me of, while also having the sort of comic booky style of Into the Spider-Verse. So there was that. I think this movie did a really nice job of having impressive action. It was a little more over the top than you see in a standard MCU film. I mean, some of the MCU movies have over the top action, but with this one, it felt okay because this is an animated series, so that didn't bother me that much. I liked the ending. I think the giant octopus monster thing was pretty cool. I mean, wasn't great or anything, but it was cool. And then there were two standout characters in this episode. So, Dominic Cooper played Howard Stark so much better than he did in First Avenger. I mean, he was good in First Avenger. He was fine. But here, he felt kind of like Varric from The Legend of Korra, if you've seen that show. And for those who haven't, he was really energetic. He was really upbeat. He had this strange sounding voice about him. I'm doing a terrible impression, but anyway, so he was really fun. And then I mentioned before, Bradley Whitford knocked it out of the park when he was playing this Colonel dude, Colonel Flynn. Like, does that guy ever play nice people? He's just so good at playing the worst human beings of all time. And he does it so well. Like, oh man. So yeah, I really enjoyed his performance in this episode. And yes, he was a jerk, but he was kind of entertaining. Like, I enjoyed seeing Peggy Carter, like, stand up to him, and especially how she kind of called back that one thing that he said to her. How he was like, "You're lucky to even be in the room," in that smug Bradley Whitford way. And then Peggy brought that back when he was talking about, oh, and of course they went for Rogers when they thought that Steve was dead. And Peggy was like, "You're lucky to even be in the room." Speaking of which, yeah, Haley Atwell did a really good job here. So yeah, it's not a great episode. I hope, for this show's sake, that this was one of the weaker ones, because I'm kind of waiting for this show to get better. But unlike with the first three, it's an anthology series, so it's not gonna be like the same story. No, it's gonna be different stories. Also, I had a possible theory. If in season 2 they do like a sequel to this episode, what if? What if? See what I did there? That was totally intended. Anyway, what if in the sequel to this episode they did kind of a Winter Soldier type story, except with Peggy Carter, of course, maybe a whatever Black Widow they want to have, because the whole business of Scarlett Johansson, and that I don't want to get into that now. That's on Disney. That's their problem. They handled that terribly. Anyway, so what if the sequel to this episode they did like a Winter Soldier style story, and Steve came back and was the Winter Soldier? Boom. That is my theory. What do y'all think of this episode? I am excited for more. I may not be doing these week-to-week reviews of the episodes because I start school again in a couple weeks. So that's sad. But anyway, yeah, I enjoyed this episode. I am excited for the rest of this show. I am the Film Watcher. Thank you for watching. Like, subscribe, and as always, remember to keep calm and watch out.